everybody. We are going to do our nativity scene today, and I've got the colors laid out for you here. So I'm just going to start with showing you guys what we're going to use. So we've got, most of these are Apple Barrel brand. We've got black, burnt umber, white, and then for the skin tone, there you have a sun-kissed peach. Any kind of skin tone color will do though. Golden sunset and cloudless. So all of those are Apple Barrel. So you can get those at Amazon, in my Amazon store, or you can get them at your local Walmart. So I'm going to set those out of the way. And then we have two metallics. This is a Folk Art Pure Gold. You can also get this at, you can get it at Hobby Lobby or Walmart. And then this is Anita's metallic paint, and it's called Titanium Gold, but it's just kind of a bronzy gold. So again, this is just that brand, that's from Hobby Lobby, but you can find any other brand that's kind of that bronzy color, and that will work for you too. So those are the colors we're using for this nativity scene today. And the original one, hey Katie, hey Karen, it's obviously a little bit bigger, and I did this on a palette board. Scoot that up so you guys can see that a little bit better. So this was an 18 by 18 on a palette board, but we are going to do it on a 12 by 12. You can pick any, it doesn't even have to be a square. I just happen to like a square for the design, but you can basically take this nativity scene and put it on anything. What was I gonna show you guys? Oh, so like this is like a cutout that was from Hobby Lobby, and I thought about painting like a nativity scene on here. You could either do it horizontal or vertical. So just get creative in what you use for your base. It doesn't have to always be exactly the way that I show you. So maybe you have a piece of wood or a frame or something like that that you can use to do that on. Hey Cam and Myra and Denise and Becky. All right, so I am gonna scoot you guys up just a little bit, and I'm gonna see if maybe I can even zoom you in just slightly. Bear with me just 1 minute. I just want to get you guys as close to it as I can. Gonna see if turning that light on is gonna, oh good, that got rid of that shadow a little bit. All right, are we good? Look good to everybody? Okay, so first thing, super easy. We're just gonna take the black and burnt umber. This can be whatever, this is to preference, however dark you want your background. So I'm just mixing the two together here so I get a nice deep dark brown. And we're gonna do this over the entire surface. So it doesn't get much easier than this as far as doing your background. Don't worry about it being super thick, or if you see a little bit of streaky, none of that's gonna matter, because we're gonna do a white dry brush over top of it. So this is just a 1-inch flat brush. I think I forgot to show you guys the brushes I'm using. So 1-inch flat, I have a number 2 round, and then I've got just a really skinny detail one in case I need it. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it or not, but I set that out just in case. I'm actually really anxious to see this on canvas because I've never done it on canvas. I've only done it on wood. So I may just love this, and I think I might even like having the smaller version to put on a shelf somewhere. Or it would make a great gift for somebody. This is a very simple nativity scene, so it doesn't take a long time. And I'm thinking about even doing these on like little ornaments. It's just a real rustic, simple style of nativity. I'm going to go ahead and paint my edges really quick just so I don't have to come back and do that later. So you kind of get like that wood grain look by doing this and having the mixture of the brown and the black. All right, so that's done. We are just gonna rinse the brown out of our brush. And I don't think this is going to dry as fast as I'm used to doing it on wood, and it dries really fast. So if you guys will hang tight and talk amongst yourselves, say good morning to everyone. I'm going to run and grab a blow dryer real quick, and I'm going to blow dry this. All right, here we go. Sorry for the noise. That is so much faster than waiting for it to dry. I think I'm gonna have to start keeping a little blow dryer at my station. Okay, so for the second part, we're doing dry brushing. So I'm using the same brush, but I've rinsed it out really good and I've dried it really good. So I'm just getting any excess watercolor, anything out of there. So it's nice and dry. I like the bristles separated like that, so it gives us that streaky look. So I'm just gonna get not a ton of white, but a decent amount on there. I want it whiter in the middle. So if you're looking at the original, it's darker on these side panels on the outer side of Joseph and Mary, and it's lighter in the middle where the light is shining down on baby Jesus. So we're gonna focus on getting it nice and light in the center. So you guys see that streaky look? That's what we're going for. You wanna have some areas where maybe it's a little bit more solid and some where it's a little streakier. So I don't want to completely cover up my brown. And I'll come around the edges too and just kind of rough those up like that. So I want the majority of my white to kind of be here behind them. This is all going to be covered up by Joseph's robe anyway, so that's not going to matter that much. So if you get any of those areas where it kind of clumps a little bit more than you wanted to, just get a little bit more paint on your brush and drag that down. So what we're gonna do, I'm just getting this on my sides as well. I'm gonna rinse again, and I want to go back over on the sides. I'm actually gonna streak some of the dark brown back over top of it to make that a little bit more dominant. So you can go back and forth with the dry brushing. And I think my white, I may blow dry it just a bit, just to make sure it's all the way dry there. The reason I don't want it wet is if you get it wet, it's just gonna make like a light brown color. You can see that in a couple little areas there. So I'm going to go back into my dark colors, again, not a ton, and I'm just going to kind of streak that. See how you can just kind of mute that back down? I like the difference of kind of going back and forth with the dry brushing. That way the white doesn't just completely take over, and if you got it maybe lighter than what you wanted it in some areas, you can go back and add this in. I like doing darker around the edges because it makes our focal point centered right in the middle, right where it should be. So that is it for our background. So a little different technique to teach you. Do you guys like the dry brushing? I think it's fun. So, hey Tish, hey Terry. I'm going to jump in and do our manger here. I'm just getting that black-brown mixture that I started with. And I'm just going to start by making an X. And I'm going to try to get it right in the center here. Okay, so just like that. And then we're going to make a little smiley face connecting the two. And fill that in. And then I'm going to switch. I'm just going to wipe the color out of this. I'm going to grab some of my, oh, I forgot to put it on my plate already. This is the Golden Sunset. And I am doing this while this is still wet because I want it to pick up some of that color. All right, so I'm just gonna start making little X's. I'm gonna show you separated just so you can see. So I'm just coming along. This is the shape I'm doing with my paintbrush, okay? So you're doing that the whole time, but now we're gonna make it messier and we're gonna overlap it. You can have some higher, some lower, but that's all you're doing for the hay. So how easy is that? Just making a bunch of little X's that overlap each other. And then I'm gonna streak just a little bit of that in here, maybe do a little curve. And we'll be coming back and adding more accents to this, but that's our base coat for the manger. Just little X's, messy little X's overlapping each other. So I'm gonna go into my brown black mixture again, and I just want to come, let's see. So I want Joseph's head to end about right here. So I'm gonna put a little line there for myself. And then we'll kind of have his body, leave him about that much space for his head. So about an inch or so. So his body shape is very simple. It's kind of like just like a little hill. So we're just gonna curve over. This curve is gonna come right down up against the manger and kind of curve back like that. This is gonna continue. This is his shoulder, and it's gonna drape down and go this way. And then I'm just gonna grab some white and some brown and start filling this in for his robe. And we'll come back and we can add some detailing to this. This is just to get the basic shape down. If your white is a little thick, sometimes my white gets a little thick, I just add a little bit of water to it and it makes it easier to spread that out. But this makes the white and the brown make a really pretty like light mocha color. Can have some areas where maybe it's a little darker. Doesn't all need to be the same color. So I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth between the white and brown, maybe a little bit of black and brown. Just kind of play with it a little bit. So right here at the top, I'm gonna have this little line kind of come down like this. That's gonna kind of act as like his sleeve a little bit. And again, this doesn't have to be super significant, or, you know, it's just one little line there to help it stand out just a little bit. Go back and add a little bit more white. So now when I'm doing that, I'm getting plenty of paint on my brush, and I'm just kind of lightly streaking it over so it stands out a little bit more and doesn't blend too much. And I'm gonna grab just a tiny bit of this mustard, mix it with my white a little bit first, just to give a little bit of these lightly kind of golden tones in there. So now we're going to jump over to Mary. Mary is going to be, it's okay to leave a little bit in there. I just wiped my brush off. So I'm doing white and just picked up just a tiny bit of that gold. And we want her head to be kind of like probably about his shoulder. So I know I want this to be the top of her head. So that's probably about where the bottom of hers is. I'm gonna scoot that back. Her head kind of leans forward a little bit because she's kneeling over. So I'm gonna come back over here for my point of starting her. And I'm gonna curve it out. I'm gonna get a little more yellow on here just so you guys can see it better. So I'm gonna curve it out and then back in and then out again. So she's got this nice kind of flowing gown here. So we've got nice and flowy in the front. This back line, just a straight angled line straight down. Gonna grab a little that gold with my white. So see how that just makes like a pretty pale yellow. You don't need a ton of it in there for color. Just fill that in. So just some real basic shapes right now. I'm gonna hold that up a little bit closer. Let's do, can you guys see that? I'm trying to get you a good angle there. So that's the shape of Mary's. And then we have Joseph. So they don't look like much right now, but it'll all come together. So I'm going to rinse that out, and I'm going to grab a little bit of my skin tone color. Give me just a second. Oops, sorry. Trying to get something set up over here. I don't know if this is going to work for me or not. Give me just a second, guys. right, can you see that? Okay, make sure the lighting is good. Okay, so I've got my skin tone here. You just need a tiny little bit of that. You don't need a ton. So we're just gonna do a little like oval, kind of like egg shape for Joseph's face. It's gonna look funny right now. Just gonna kind of make it rough on the front there. And then for Mary, same thing, but see, I may have to blend that in. I don't know that I want her to come out that much. For Mary, I want to come out just a little bit. You know what? Maybe I want her to come over. We'll do it right here. So she's gonna get a little bit of a neck first. And then her shape is gonna, because her head is angled down, so we want her to have more of a kind of chin. So I was teasing in my regular class of doing this, it almost kind of looks like an alien head right now, but that'll look normal once we get her veil on there. So I know they look a little funny right now. So we're gonna jump back over to Joseph and give him a messy little hairstyle here and a beard. So I'm just gonna take my brown black mixture again and I'm just kind of squiggling it around. I'm not picking up my brush. He kind of looks like he has a fro right now. That's all right. It won't. I'm gonna cover up part of his face. And bring it all the way down. So he's got a nice mullet right now. And then we'll come over here, kind of pull across his face a little bit. Adding that beard makes all the difference in the world. So just leave a little bit of face showing. And then this is where if you want the smaller brush, you can do that. So I've just got a smaller one here. And then I just want to give him just a little bit of an eyebrow. So I'm just going to hold it just like this and just pull straight across right there. Make his hair come down just a little bit more. So pretty simple. His beard come out just a little bit more. Let you guys see that up close. So when you see it up close, you can see it's not, you know, a ton of detail, just kind of moving that brush around and then just giving him a little bit of an eyebrow. All right, so we're gonna jump over here to Mary. I'm gonna fix this mark I made for myself first and blend this white back in. Just always remember, if you ever do something on your painting you're not happy with, streak a little bit of that in there. Just let it dry. You can cover it back up. We won't even know when we get to the end. All right, let Let me grab some of my blue here. So for her head, I'm gonna see if I can move this in just a little bit. Hang tight with me. I don't know if this, I might have to scoot over just a little bit. How's that? Give you a little bit more close up. So I'm going to take some of that pale blue I have with a little bit of white in my brush, and I'm going to make a straight line that goes across the top of her head, just like that. And then we're going to pull this up so you guys see how much bigger that is than her actual head. See all that negative space there? Fill that in. And then here's the part we're going to get rid of that weird looking neck area. So we're going to pull this down at an angle. Okay, so like this. I just want to cover that up. I have her veil going down pretty far down, and angle it up like that. So you're just kind of making like the letter V there, and kind of curving back up here. So I get lots of paint on there just to spread that in nice and quickly. And I'm okay with a little bit of my brown showing through behind. It just adds a little bit more texture to it. So I'm going to add a couple little white streaks in here. And we're going to be coming back with the gold, the metallic gold, and adding some more of that in also. All right, so we are gonna put baby Jesus in our manger here. So we're gonna put the shape of baby Jesus on here, and then it will come over top of our hay, and then we'll let that dry and we'll come back over it again so that the hay is on top of him. So we're just doing a little semicircle for his head. Okay, just like that. And then we're gonna grab some white. We're gonna do a little baby swaddling. So just another little semicircle. This one's just bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna leave him just like that for right now. Can't see. Let me see if I can swipe these comments off here. There we go. Now I can better see what you guys can see. I'm at a weird angle here with my camera, but you can see. See that basic shape. So we're gonna let that dry. Now I'm gonna get some of my like bronzy metallic here. And again, you don't need a ton. And then it's some of my pure gold. And we are going to do this star above him and this like little halo effect. So I'm gonna start with this, I've got the bronzy color, and I'm just gonna make these like half semicircles, like just little curved. almost like a rainbow shape. Very light, very streaky. So add a few of those in. And then I'm going to come up here towards the top to do my star. And I want to make a straight line down. And then we're going to make a cross. And then we're going to put an X through that. This is all in that bronzy color. And then we're going to add these little lines of gold kind of shooting out from this, all different angles, radial, going around. Just like that. And I'm going to streak some of this out here in my gold, or I mean in my brown, sorry. You can add as little or as much as you want to there. So that was with the bronzy gold. Now I'm going to go back with the pure gold. It's got a more yellow tone to it, and I'm going to kind of accent over top that and add some other little rays coming out of here in the golder color. And then we're also going to jump down here and add just a couple. So I'm going to take some of this and just streak just a tiny bit into Joseph. I just love the extra metallic look that it gives on there. And then we're going to do the same thing with Mary. So I'm going to come in the front, kind of add a little gold to the outline. I'm going to bounce back and forth between that bronzy gold and my other one, so you can decide which one you like better. And then you can go back with your white even and kind of blend it with the metallics, and it gives you a different shade altogether. And this is just giving some little detail to her, so it's not just one block of color here. We're going to do the same thing up here. Add a little bit there. Couple streaks through here, and then I'm going to go back into this metallic bronze, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of brown. Okay, so just a little bit of my burnt umber with that. And I want to create a little line across there for some definition. And then maybe just some darker streaks going down here. Just to give a little bit more definition to her gown and the veil. And again, you can just kind of play with this until you get it the way that you like. I'm going to grab a little bit of white, and I'm not rinsing because this is all just kind of a mix of colors here. A little bit of white and some of that blue, just a tiny little bit. I'm just going to streak over into Joseph's gown. Maybe a little white with the white and the pure gold, the more yellowy gold, make a really pretty color if you want to add some streaks of color into him also. I'm gonna mute this down just a little bit here. I don't want quite that much gold over there. So just kind of have fun playing with it and decide how much gold you want to add in. I'm going back with a little of my dark brown again, and I'm just gonna kind of pull his robe out just a little. So I did a little streak of the gold around Mary's face too. And just a little bit of kind of coloring right here, just to kind of create a little bit of a shadow there. Very, very lightly dragging down that. I'm gonna grab some white and some of that pure gold and just add a little bit more color to her dress here. So just adding those little streaks of color in, you just kind of create some different shapes there. And this would also be cool done in a palette knife. I may try that later. All right, so we're gonna come back here to the hay, and I'm gonna grab the mustard and just a touch of brown on there as well. And I'm just gonna overlap, doing these little X's again. So that that hay is on top of baby Jesus. And then I'm gonna grab a little bit of black, okay? And you don't have to go all the way across with full X's, but just kind of here and there. It's just gonna add a little definition in there. See how that starts standing out a little bit more? And then I'm gonna take that black and add some little curved shapes here. I'm gonna wipe that black out of my brush, and I'm gonna grab some of my gold. Just streak some of that in there. And then just a tiny bit of white. So again, I'm doing all this with my fine, smaller brush. And if you get too much of a color, just go back and overlap it or let it dry, and you can come back. You can add some metallic in here. So just kind of cover it up a little bit. I'm gonna go back. He needs just a second coat, just a tiny little bit of that skin tone back on him. And I'm just gonna be careful not to overlap the hay again. And then we're gonna grab just a tiny bit of black. Very, very thin brush. And I'm just lightly giving this tiny little outline to him so he stands out just a little bit more. Take a little black and come over here. And then maybe just a little bit here and there on Mary. Maybe a little bit around her veil. I don't like how dark that got up there. I'm going to try to cover this up. So I am going to do just a tiny little bit. I have some gold splatter on my original one, so I'm going to wet down my gold paint here. Make it nice and watery. I'm just going to do a little bit of splatter, mostly up towards the top here. I think I might need to make it even a little thinner. There we go. And that's optional, of course. You can choose whether you want to do that. I don't think I like that big blob there. So there we go. There is your first nativity. And I am going to show you guys the other one as well. So I'm going to try to jump on and do it pretty quick here if I have enough time. So here's nativity number 1. I can't wait to see what you guys do it on. You can do it on canvas, wood, whatever. This is a 12 by 12. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what everyone does with it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.